are here in the Escola Jujol in the Gracia neighborhood of Barcelona with 3 members of the international delegation. We have Hywel Williams from Wales, Emma Clancy from Ireland, and Trevor Ó CLOCHARTAIGH also from Ireland.
Sorry,
and people are still coming in to vote. We have a very old voter just arrived. But I was just talking to these 3 members of the delegation, and they were telling me things that they observed today, and I wanted them to be able to tell you. So first we'll start with Trevor. Maybe you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm Trevor Ó CLOCHARTAIGH. I'm a Sinn Fein Senator from Galway in Ireland, and I'm part of this delegation. There's a number of us from Sinn Fein here. I think the biggest thing that's really struck me today has been the dignity of the Catalan people and those who are standing to vote, the peacefulness of their protest, the fact that they've been so self-restrained and controlled, which has been a stark contrast to what we've seen from the state forces in the guise of the Guardia Civil, and we've seen terrible brutality really being imposed on people, and it's totally in excess of what has been needed, and really it's been a disgrace if you ask me. So what we've seen is a huge attempt to have a democratic process, great resilience from the people who are involved in that, against a lot of technical difficulties, a lot of practical difficulties, and fear as well. So we applaud all of you who are involved in this effort, and we will do our damnedest to make sure that the world out there knows about what has happened here today, and wish you all well in the future endeavour towards independence.
Thank you so much. Emma, will you tell us about that firefighter that you saw?
Certainly. Well, this was in a situation where we had gone to one of the polling stations, and we heard the crowds kind of cheering as the firefighters came up, because they heard that the school was going to be approached by the national police. That didn't actually happen at that point. They had gone to another polling station. The firefighters and us as the international observers also went to this other polling station where we had heard the Guardia Civil were attacking the voters and the voting stations. Then we directly witnessed the brutality of the Guardia Civil pushing and shoving and taunting the protesters. They were really just voters and the people who were there to actually defend the entrance to the polling station. What happened there was that the Guardia Civil very quickly forced their way into the polling station. They beat a 70-year-old man in the head with a baton because he was voting, and they were in the process of seizing the ballot boxes. Trevor later spoke to him directly, and he was saying, he had his hands up, and then we spoke to the firefighters again, and they were explaining that they had been trying to prevent the police from making this attack, the Guardia Civil. But also, for me, it was kind of the saddest moment of the day, because the firefighter said, okay, he had been innocent. For me, it was a very low point of the day, a very sad point of the day, where the firefighter said that the Guardia Civil, he said of the Guardia Civil, now they're just laughing at us. And you could see that he just felt complete humiliation, that they had managed to force their way in, seize the ballot box, and deny the vote, deny the expression of self-determination of the Catalan people who had gone to that particular polling station. And this has happened across across Catalonia today, but with even more violence than we personally witnessed. So I think Spain has lost all legitimacy in terms of what it has done today to peaceful, as Trevor said, completely peaceful, completely disciplined, and completely dignified people who just want to express their right to vote. And the international community needs to sharply say this is completely unacceptable and this is absolutely illegitimate actions for a government in Europe to take.
Thank you very much. You want to add something?
I'm Hywel Williams. I'm an MP from Wales, and in Westminster I also chair the all-party group on Catalonia, and that has members from all parties, as the name suggests, including people from the governing party and also other parties apart from the DUP from Northern Ireland who haven't joined. My impression is, of course, that the people who have voted have shown astonishing perseverance. People were queuing outside for 3 and 4 hours in the rain because they were determined to cast their votes, including old people and people with a disability. We saw old people coming in who had been waiting 40 years, they said, in order to cast their votes. So their perseverance. But the other thing that struck me as being an international visitor and with an observing function is that the poll officials have been scrupulous in their attention to ensuring a fair vote. We've been talking in this school now with the official in charge, and he's at pains to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to vote as they should, and he's at pains to make sure that the result here is reported properly. How he's going to do that is a mystery, because of course there is something of a state of siege here. I did say that I'm an international visitor. We have an observing function, so I can say that so far I can see a scrupulously carried out election or referendum on one side and state oppressive action on the other. Now, that's what I want to see in our report, but that it is, as far as I can see, as far as it can be, a free and fair opportunity for people to express their opinion. Apart from that, I'm an elected politician and a Democrat, and at this point I would say that the way that the Spanish government has behaved is a disgrace and an affront to democracy. And if by some enormous luck they were to succeed in getting a majority against independence, or to frighten sufficient people not to vote, they have already lost. And if we had leaders in the large European countries with any backbone at all, they would now be standing up and saying that this is not acceptable. And I repeat the call from my colleagues here to my own Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and to the leaders of the European Union. You are being found wanting, and it is high time that you stood up and were counted.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for your view. Really appreciate it.